Yo, Lord Willin, Jeff Canarsi, Mock Talk Radio. Check it out. Yo, we stay quiet like Russell Buffalino when things will get ugly like Pepsi's death in Casino. Who do we know? No one, nobody. But we're all well respected like Della Croce and Gotti. I know wild nights, Havana nocturne. Light up a cigar and watch your spot burn. You'll get patty whacked, I'm tough like Irish dock workers. Rubber guys with guys, hooligans and block lurkers. Corner berserkers, street savvy soldiers. You owe, you better pay. Don't make me say I told you. Code you don't betray, I say what I mean. Providence and Brooklyn all the way to the bean. I'd rather be unseen, like Vinny the Chin. I don't gotta go to Vegas to see cities of sin. Pull the pin, drop bombs like Danny Green. I write homicide like the murder machine. Lansky Luciano, mastermind the racket. Up in the clam house with $1 million in my jacket. Move around when the streets get darker. Pay homage to real bosses like Gambino and Patriarcha. Mob talking, but you don't talk to the mob. Lord Will and Jeff Canarsi, we stay on our job. This is Mob Talk, straight from the streets. Mob Talk, the life over beats. Lord Will and Jeff Canarsi, bringing you the real. Kill all rats, you already know the deal. This is Mob Talk.
It's time for Mob Talk Radio with your host, Jeff Canarsi.
I'm gonna tell you something. If you two never bother me again the rest of my life, I ain't giving them that stuff. I can't. There's good friends of mine out on the say. Well, he's the boss, you have to do his stuff. That's why I said to you before, you don't understand what the money. Come on to me that the boss is your boss.
And welcome to Mob Talk Radio. I'm your host, Jeff Canarsi. If you are new to this channel, do me a solid. Please hit the like, please hit the subscribe, and please share our content per the usual. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, we have all of our donation links set up. If you would like to donate, please feel free to do so. It enables us to keep doing great content that nobody else is doing, and those are certifiable facts. So we have a bit of sort of breaking news, and it's something that I think is going to surprise a lot of people. It's no longer your grandfather's mafia, to say the least. And so what we're going to do today is we are going to talk a little bit about the Camorra. And the reason we are going to be talking about that is because something new just came out, and this is insane. So we're just going to jump right into it. This is no longer your grandfather's mafia. The mafia, the Camorra, and 'Ndrangheta are always looking for new ways to make money, new ways to exploit the economy. And news breaking a couple of days ago is a complete mind blown for me. I never thought I would see anything like this in my life. And it's just going to show you the insane depths in sort of the criminal acumen that they have overseas versus here in the United States. So 2 weeks ago, Italian authorities launched an operation against the powerful Contini clan, which is basically a powerful clan, a Camorra clan inside of the Campania region of Italy. The Contini clan, is insanely powerful. They're a Neapolitan Camorra clan, which was founded in the 1980s, and they have long operated in Naples and surrounding regions. And the hub of their clan operates out of the Arianaccia district. They also operate in Vasto, Mercato, and San Carlo, which are all subdivisions within Naples itself. And they are one of the founding families of the Second Alliance. And that alliance is basically the commission for Camorra. Back in the early 1980s, the clan was founded by Eduardo Contini, and they would join the new family group, which was pitted against the new Camorra organization, which was led by the infamous Rafael Cutolo. By the mid-1980s, Eduardo became a juggernaut in the narcotics trade and had cornered the market, especially the Eastern European market, as far as drugs, specifically cocaine, according to the allegations. He had serious alliances and friendships, not only with the Sicilian mafia, but also the Colombian cartels as well. And what makes the Continis so powerful is because they've never had an informant within the ranks of this clan, whereas other Neapolitan clans have rat infestations. Not only have they never had an informant ever, but they've also never had anybody within the clan that had desires to take over. So therefore, there's never been a faction within the family vying for power, which is one of the reasons why they've been so successful. Uh, According to Italian authorities, they're aligned with the Malardo clan, the Licciardi clan, the Delaro clan, the Rinaldi clan, the Mocha clan, the Mariano clan, the Commisso di Andrina, the Ukrainian Mafia, and the Caesarano clan. They, however, have had a history of beef with the Mazzarella clan, the Giuliano clan, which some have said is defunct, but they really aren't, to be honest with you, and the Caldarelli clan. So back in 2017, the Italian authorities confiscated over $300 million from the Contini clan, which included confiscating businesses owned or at least suspected to be owned by the Contini clan, and they would confiscate over 30 properties, which included real estate, owned businesses like gas stations, tobacco shops, jewelry stores, and more. Italian authorities have said that $320 million in those assets that they took was merely a drop in the well for this clan, which they believe is a billion-dollar criminal faction. So in 2019, the Continis would become the leader in the Camorra after the arrests of Marco Deloro, who was the boss at the time of the Deloro clan. And since 2011, Italian authorities have tried taking down the Contini clan, but have failed to do so. So we have to go back to the beginning of what we talked about before. So let me pull up this, because this is what's going to blow your mind. All right. So 2 weeks ago, the Italian authorities launched an operation against the powerful Contini clan, which, like we said, was based in the Campania region of Italy. And shortly after those raids began, the central focus of that raid became the San Giovanni Bosco Hospital in Naples. And what investigators have found out was that the Camorra had created what they called an anti-state. The Continis controlled the hospital, and they used it as a money laundering facility and a place to hold meetings and a place to order mob hits. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. So mobsters were holding key meetings in key different wards, and they would use ambulances to deliver drugs and guns, and also to fast track patients for a price to the hospital. They also found that the Continis were also using the hospital for insurance scams and fraud. Making the investigation even more insane was the access mafia members had to medical supplies, which led them to making what authorities are calling murder kits, which hitmen would pick up like a drive-through at McDonald's. Those kits were fitted with latex gloves, surgical gowns, and medical gel, and in some cases, scalpels. And what's interesting is the medical gel would be applied to the hair, the arms, and the eyebrows to ensure that no hair fell out at crime scenes, henceforth, no DNA. As well, the mob was sending drug addicts to the hospital to get their fix, and they would be allowed on the roofs to shoot and snort up for a certain price. And they also had an area of the hospital that was closed off for motorcycles and mopeds so that hitmen could use them in contracted hits. Crazy stuff. There was a 481-page indictment that came down and explained how the Contini clan took over the 156-bed hospital and how they overtook the insurance company that was facilitating the hospital, and how the Contini clan was able to achieve this was based on a legal loophole in the Italian law, which allowed former convicts and former felons to get medical jobs without discrimination. And it basically led to fringe associates and made guys to walk in and get a job, and that's when they began to absorb the hospital. Paolo Di Moro, the boss of the Contini clan, was nicknamed the Nurse for his ability to take over the hospital. And hospital records would show that he never, ever actually came to work and clocked in, but collected a six-figure income a month, basically as a no-show job, being named the director of something here, something there. Di Moro actually died back in 2018. The Klan also charged insane prices to even park at the hospital. And if you didn't pay or agree to pay that fee, they would be ripped out of their cars and beaten senseless. And it's been said that this hospital takeover was the brainchild of Damaro and Gennaro Mineta, who on paper was a radiologist, but he was the central figure in the Klan taking over the hospital. Even the pizzeria located on the property became a mob social club. Any doctors who spoke out against it were silenced immediately. And to avoid wiretaps and surveillance, the Klan would move their meetings to different wards in the hospital. They never used the same place twice. So from drug distribution to warehousing tons of cocaine within inside the hospital, fraud, scams, pay to get sooner for a fee, the Klan moved in local drug dealers to operate from several floors of that hospital. And what's perhaps more astonishing was the medical care in this hospital was actually insanely good, and they kept to the gold standards, yet it was a fully running criminal enterprise. The authorities have known about this for years, and even after 126 arrests back in 2019, they still couldn't shut it down. And it just goes to show the evolving sort of grasp that the mafia has in Italy and what they're able to accomplish in a short period of time. As you can see on the screen, this is sort of the layout of the hospital, and they controlled everything. They up here, where you can see my mouse right there, that was where the drug addicts would go to shoot up. Then they had a mob run cafe over here. They had a bamboo barrier inside used to deploy mopeds and motorcycles for hitmen. Weekly mob meetings all over the place. Ambulances used to transport drug and patients. Mafia parking attendants selling tickets. And then up here you have sort of the murder kits. But that's insane to me. That's insane to me because that is something that is so public. But they were doing this for years. And it just goes to show that the sort of the differences between the United States and Italy. These guys are, whether or not we agree with what they've done, okay, they're brilliant. Nobody can dispute that. They're very intelligent, sophisticated criminals. And, you know, even during COVID, when everything got shut down, one of the bigger things that organized crime had going on in Italy was they were buying repossessed houses. They were buying foreclosed homes. They have infiltrated every single bit of society in Italy. Now, imagine here if, say, I don't know, the Gambino crime family, owns a New York Presbyterian. That is just insane. And for them to be able to take over the insurance rackets at the same time. And they were also using ambulances for fake car crashes, fake x-rays, like everything you can think of that you could possibly surcharge for in a hospital, the mob did. And it just shows you the sheer amount of power that they have and the sheer amount of intelligence that they have. And what's amazing to me is that you have a hospital. I don't know what the average staff in a hospital would be. Let's just assume it's 1,000 people. Not a single one of these people working in this hospital uttered a word to authorities. Because in reality, one of them could have, you know what I mean? But they didn't. Doctors show up at work and they have all of this insane stuff going on. They don't say a word. That shows you the amount of power and fear that they put into people at this hospital. It's insane. I never thought I would see anything like this in my life. Why nobody else is talking about it kind of blows my mind, because this is exactly the kind of stuff people should be talking about. Because this, in comparison to New York or to Philadelphia or Chicago, the mob could never do anything like that here. It just shows a sophistication. And one of the first things somebody may say is, well, how in the hell can they get away with this and nobody find out? Because they pay off politicians. They pay off local government. That's what they've always done, and that's what enables them to do this. Now, this hospital didn't have a clean, totally scot-free record. A couple of years back, they had a rat infestation and a roach infestation, which was taken care of. But the fact that organized crime could take over a complete hospital complex, make millions and billions and millions and billions, or whatever the case may be, of dollars a year, and nobody says a word is just insane to me. It just goes to show the Camorra is not dead. Anybody that says otherwise is out of their fucking minds. But once again, it's interesting to me because when we talk about organized crime on this channel specifically, we always talk about Ndrangheta is the worldwide leader in organized crime, and they still are. But Ndrangheta doesn't do stuff like this. Ndrangheta is more housing projects, housing complexes, community complexes, and stuff like that. Because Ndrangheta has really switched the direction that they're going. They're still the worldwide leader in narcotics, if you believe what the authorities say. But they have tried to avoid mass projects like this because of the heat that it does bring. Excuse me. So I just thought I would bring out the news today. Nobody else seems to be talking about it. And to me, it's interesting because it shows the magnitude. And one of the things that I like to discuss over on our podcast as well as here is the business side of it. I think Tom LaVecchia, that's really his expertise, is sort of the business side of organized crime. And this is just insane to me. Just insane. Not so much that I think the fact that they were able to accomplish it is insane to me. The fact that they were able to get away with it for so long is insane to me. Because even when you play sort of mob boss armchair and you think about all of these things historically and how guys did this and how guys did that, it's amazing to me that someone sat down and had the capacity to say, we're going to infiltrate a hospital and this is what we're going to do. The easy part, and maybe it's not the easy part. The easy part is infiltrating. You get guys in there, but you also have to hope everybody's going to keep their mouth shut. You know what I mean? And that's a big risk, but they were able to get away with this. It's just insane to me. And it doesn't surprise me. It should, but it doesn't. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's little news segment. We will start doing more content in the next week or so. We will be going back to doing lives as well. If you're a fan of the horror show as well, we will be bringing that back as well. Also, just so that everybody knows, let me see if I can pull up this thing. If you're interested in mob merch, you can go to bonfire.com /store/mob talk radio speakeasy, or just go over to YouTube and hit store as well. We have an award-winning podcast, which no other YouTuber has. And you can visit that at mobtalkradioshow.supercast.com every Friday. It's a 3-hour plus show. Usually we do 5 shows a month. It's $10 a month. You can't get any better than that. Ton of content every month, a lot of extra stuff that we will not talk about here on YouTube. And like I said, we're award winning. And when somebody else can say that, let me know. All that being said, have a great week, everybody. And remember, Friday, Philadelphia Mob History Part 6 is coming out. We are covering from the late 1800s all the way through Angelo Bruno. And we are talking about things on this podcast no other content creator is talking about. That's guaranteed. And eventually, some of these shows from our podcast, we are going to release on YouTube. And I think it's going to shock a lot of people of A, how good it is, and B, how detailed the information is. I spend a lot of time doing research. That's kind of what I do for a living. And I think once that comes out, people are going to be very surprised because it's easy for the naysayers to sit back and say, well, he only talks about the same stuff. Well, if you don't join the podcast, you wouldn't know. So all that being said, I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you got something out of this. It's insanity to me. Just insanity. Insanity. Have a good one.